Motion is very topical as the executive scrambles to solve some of its money woes as we approach the point of struggling to keep the lights on and to keep services functioning. For me, this motion touches on 4 groups of people which give context to the problems faced by the department in trying to recover this money. I think of my constituent in Cullybecky who owns her own home and through no fault of her own had to retire early from her job. Sadly, this lady can't gain employment and due to a small private pension doesn't qualify for universal credit nor get help from PIP. Until this lady reaches state pension age, she will have to continue to stretch her money as far as she can to pay a little of her rates bill to keep the wolves from the door, while choosing every day between paying all of her rates or heating her home and having food in the cupboard. If this person hadn't have worked all her life, she would be entitled to universal credit and then she would have qualified for getting her rates paid for her. The second grouping of people is those who, through unforeseen circumstances, have been unable to pay their rates bills and their debt has spiralled as a result to the point where the only option is bankruptcy. I presume this is the group most responsible for the 82 million of debt written off. The third grouping of people is who have moved out of their own homes due to the poor condition that they've got into and stopped paying their rates as a result. Even though these houses are now empty, rates remain payable until the house is either toppled or becomes that badly dilapidated that it can't be repaired and condemned as a result. This brings me to my fourth grouping of people. These are the people who have the resources but through poor financial management haven't paid their rates bills. The department needs to use all resources at its disposal to ensure these rates are paid in full as a priority. The best example I can give relates to an office in my own constituency recently highlighted in the local press. Shockingly, over a 13-year period, this single property was the subject of repeated arrangements, court summonses, bounced cheques and what was politely described as oversights, none of which successfully settled the rates account. Let me take the House through the facts of what the department has faced. 2012, Land and Property Services sent its first debt recovery letter. 2013, when the bill remained unpaid, a court summons was issued. Only then did the office request a copy of the bill to arrange payment. 2016, LPS were assured payment by mid-August, yet 4 months later, still nothing. A second court summons was required before payment finally came. 2017, another summons. A post-dated cheque was offered but was rejected. 2018, a 6-month payment arrangement was agreed, yet cheques bounced, first for £3,000, then for £1,000. 2020, pre-court letters were issued before payments were made. 2021, LPS again had to threaten court action. May 2023, a final red letter warning was issued. March 2025, more than 5,000 was still outstanding. Shockingly, Mr Deputy Speaker, this property was the constituency office of the now former MP and now United Irelander Ian Paisley Jr. This property was held by the Ballymena Advice Centre, a corporate entity linked to the Paisley family, with the DUP a passive beneficiary. Happy to give way.
Outlined quite an extensive process in collecting the rate bill, aside from the particular individual that it was directed at. But do you believe that bureaucracy in itself is adding to the cost and the challenge around the rates issue that we're having and discussing today?
Extra minute.
This issue goes to the heart of the problem the department is facing, and in this particular case, this money would have been covered by public money if somebody had managed their budget right and their resources within their budget that they have. Mr Paisley was the tenant, legally responsible for paying the rates. Mr Deputy Speaker, the DUP now calls for stricter enforcement of unpaid rates, demanding higher collection targets and new proposals to tackle arrears. Yes, unpaid rates are unfair. Yes, they are a burden to ordinary citizens and a threat to public services. But if the DUP wants truly to lead by example, perhaps the first step is simple: ensure your own offices are fully up to date on their bills before lecturing the public. Only then can the public take seriously and call for fiscal responsibility and take lectures and take guidance from the benches to my right-hand side. Until that happens and Church Street account is finally settled, no thank you, no lectures coming from the DUP in this issue.